Oh, welcome to Burn the Ship. This is the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs or professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We talk to people that have walked the walk, talked the talk, been through all the things that we experience as entrepreneurs and small business owners, and come out the other side more knowledgeable with more skills, more expertise that they're willing to share with us to help us be more successful in our businesses. So, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming. First of all, anybody that sets the time up for myself and the audience is much appreciated. It means a lot to us. So, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your business.
I'm Gina Van Luven. I'm a board certified health coach. I have been for almost 20 years. I've had a varied background in health coaching. I worked as director of nutrition for a couple of different supplement companies doing formulations and product development. Now I own one of the prime IV hydration and wellness franchises, and that's probably what we'll focus on. But I'm happy to talk about having my own health coaching business and how that differs between having no employees and all contractors versus brick and mortar where I have employees. It's a very different experience for sure.
Sure. Well, the thing that is so interesting to me about your business and just your kind of industry as a whole, like kind of as broad as you can get, is like there's a mixture between the time that you spend thinking like a business owner, right, and what are things that I can do to generate revenue for myself and my company and take care of my family and make money and all those things, and then on the complete other side, right, is how do I do things for people that make them healthier? Or like how do I put their health and what is good for them at the forefront of where I'm spending my time and energy, right? And I think that's what makes them the most interesting entrepreneurs, people that are very, very much so focused on the needs of their customers and find a value add to them where they can still make money and do all the things and reap the benefits of being a business owner, right? So that's really what I think, just for your knowledge, what I think is so cool about your industry is you have to find somewhere in between, spending all your time thinking like a business owner and spending all your time thinking like a practitioner. It's a really, really cool thing because if there's anything, and the audience knows this, that we want to leave our audience with, is that your customer comes first, right? If there's any recipe for success in your business, is putting your customer first and putting their needs ahead of your own and taking care of those people and doing the right thing is really a good formula for running a successful business. So with that in mind, and what I think about your industry as a whole, about the whole health and wellness side of the world, tell me a little bit about your background and kind of how you landed in the franchise world, because I know that's a completely different thing, right? Like getting into that kind of business in a box and figuring out how to make it work for you is a very, very different experience than what most people experience with their small business. So lead me up to how you got into that franchise world and what it's been like for someone to say, hey, here's the process. If you know what to do to make it, if you follow the process, you can make it work for you.
Yeah, I'll start with the balance topic of how do you balance between just wanting to help people get healthy and being able to put a roof over your head and food on the table. Because when I first started, it came really about because of my own health issues and things that had happened in my family. And so I grew up with a lot of health issues. So by the time I was 30, I had arthritis, I had digestive issues, I had eczema and skin issues, and tendonitis in my jaw, and irritable bowel, and just a whole bunch of unpleasant things. And I have health issues in my family. And so I thought, geez, I'm going to be lucky to make it to 50. And I'm 56 now and healthier than I was at 26. And that is because I made some radical changes in the way I was taking care of myself. And when that happened, and I saw this massive change of things that I was told I would never resolve, like asthma, being on an inhaler 3 times a day, you don't ever think that's going to change. Having chronic allergies, maybe, but asthma, no. And within 3 months, I was off my inhaler. I used acupuncture along with dietary changes. So when I had these radical shifts in my own health and well-being, I just wanted to like stand up on the roof with a megaphone and tell everybody about it because I wanted everybody to feel empowered that they could change their story. But it didn't work that way. I found out very quickly that just because you tell someone, hey, this happened to me, doesn't mean that they will believe that it could happen to them. The other thing that happens is people don't want to give up their habits, their vices. They're afraid, oh, well, if I work with you, you're going to take away my coffee and my alcohol and my sugar, and I need all of those things.
Mm.
So there were some challenges to overcome. And I really just started working with people who wanted to work with me, who were ready. They were tired of the same old thing and the symptoms, and knowing that the Western system was not going to resolve that. Yeah, I can make them feel a little bit better at the time, but it wasn't resolving the underlying problem of what was happening. And so that's really what I was all about, is coaching them to make healthier choices. Sometimes that included recommending another complementary method, alternative treatments, they call it. I like to call them complementary because they can work alongside Western medicine. And I'm not one to say, oh, Western medicine, don't ever do that, because that's not true. I think there's a place for it for sure. If I have a raging headache, or I chop off a finger, thank goodness for pain medication, right?
Right.
There's a place for it. But understanding how you get to where you are is important, and uncovering that. So that's kind of how I started, and have been doing that for, like I said, almost 20 years. And then I was talent scouted a couple of times to work for some direct sales companies, and which was super fun. I got to dig into a different side and create a new talent, which was creating supplements and looking at what goes into those, and the good and the bad and the ugly of the supplement industry. And so that was really interesting. And then a couple of years ago, I was getting a massage, and my therapist said, hey, you should check out this place two doors down, which is a Prime IV. And I had been thinking about IV therapy. I had done it myself in my healing journey, but it was in a doctor's office, clinical environment. And that's the way most people think of IV services, is, oh, you go when you're sick, you go to the hospital, or you go to your doctor. But going into a Prime IV spa and experiencing it as a spa experience was mind blowing to me. And so I had gone again, and then I was like, that's it. I want to open my own. And so that's what I did. So that was the abrupt transition from health coaching to working or owning a Prime IV hydration and wellness spa. But in the spa, I don't do this that often, because I let my medics manage the customers that come in, but I get to do some coaching as well. So when a client comes in to our spa, we do a full intake. They have to go through a health intake form, and then we go over that with them. We look at their health history and look at what are they looking for right now, what are their goals right now, what are their goals for the future, and that gives me and my employees, my team, the opportunity to coach them. And it's helping them again to create healthier habits. It's not just about coming in and getting an IV service or an injection service. I want them to leave feeling like they have more value coming in, and it's not just about the IV. They have things that they can take home with them, they can do outside of our spa.
So what's kind of been your superpower through this whole process, right? Because you've kind of taken on many different roles in the wellness world, from working with the direct sales companies on the supplement side to, doing your own health coaching and building a book of business and trying to figure out ways to sell and articulate exactly the value that you can bring to people that are going down that health journey, to where you are now, which is, running and operating a brick and mortar with a franchise. Like, what has been that thing that's really helped you keep just leveling up?
There's two things. The first thing that popped in my head when you asked that question is flexibility. You absolutely have to be flexible, because things don't go the way that you expect them to go, or that you plan them to go. Sometimes they do, but oftentimes you've got to be able to move quickly and make changes, and be okay with those changes, because getting upset over something is not going to change what just happened. And so having that flexibility, taking a deep breath, and a lot of that comes with my coaching experience and having to do that with others. I have to coach myself, and just take a deep breath sometimes and go, okay, this is not ideal. What do I need to do to move forward, to get into a different place? But flexibility is huge. And then the other piece really is just keeping yourself as healthy as you can. If you are going into work every day and trying to manage all of these things, Stress is a big issue. And if you're not doing things in your life to mitigate that stress, so eating healthy, making sure you get sleep, which is difficult sometimes, I realize, that can tank your ability to be able to make rational decisions.
Sure. No, it definitely can. The and on the other side of thing, like what are some of the obstacles that you've overcome along the way? Like what are some of the things that you experience that require you to be flexible that, maybe they're big, maybe they're little, maybe they're recurring, maybe it was a one-time thing, but what pops out into your mind when you think of like the highlights of, oh, these are different things I've had to overcome along the way?
With a brick and mortar and having employees, and I've had employees before working for someone else, very different than when they're your own employees. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very different because it's all on you. All the decisions,
Mm-hmm.
everything, HR, everything is on you as a small business owner. But your employees are everything. That's your talent. That's who touches the customer. Having worked for two large companies, I've worked for small, medium, and large companies. I worked for Intel. I worked for Allied Signal, which is now Honeywell. Um, when you don't feel valued as an employee and you're just a number, morale is a big issue, right? So I believe in my team. It doesn't mean that they're always going to be great employees and that they're going to share that loyalty with me, but how I feel toward my team is a sense of loyalty and dedication to wanting to help them grow. I know they may not stay here, and I understand they may not want to spend the rest of their life as a paramedic or an RN, and helping them to grow as an individual, as a human being outside of what we do here is important. So your employees or who you work with, who you choose to work with, I think makes a big difference. But like I said, they don't necessarily share your culture or methodology, and working with other people can be a challenge, no matter if you work for someone else or you have contractors, or even your customers. People are people and they're going to do things that you don't agree with. And so that's where that flexibility comes into play. If you get all upset and angry or show emotion in front of these situations, it doesn't help anybody. So just taking a deep breath. I actually just had a situation recently, and one of my employees came back and said, wow, I was really impressed by how you handled that, because in most situations people would kind of freak out and maybe lash out back at the other person, and it's just not helpful to do that. So again, with the idea of flexibility in mind, is just taking a deep breath, listening, mirroring back, being able to move with the changes that happen, and know that in most cases, it really has nothing to do with you. It's what's going
Yeah.
on with the other person. And taking ownership for the things that you are responsible for, I think is really important as well.
So where do you go from here? Like what's that next experience or that next goal that you're looking to conquer? I mean, obviously, stepping into the franchise world, it really changes things for a lot of small business owners because the franchise is willing to help you with the marketing side. They're willing to help you with the processes. They're willing to help you really set things up for scale. So you kind of get this additional flexibility to, find new ways to encourage business development or all these other things. So what's kind of the next goal or the next thing that you're working on, or where do you go from here? Is it acquire more territory, or what's kind of the game plan?
Yeah, I'm only 8 months in, so I'm still very new. And I feel like I have my footing now, which is good. I've got a good foundation, and it's just growth, helping people know that we're here. So I do a lot of outreach. I do a lot of community education. I do traditional advertising. And as you mentioned, franchise does advertising as well, mostly with social media, which is hugely helpful. I don't have to think about that piece for the most part. But community engagement, getting out there and letting people know that we're here, educating them about the benefits, and no matter what you do, right? Like what you do, it's the same. It's creating those relationships, and relationships are hugely important. And if someone can't help you, you might be able to help them, and it's reciprocal, right? I very much believe in karma and I love connecting people. It's like I might not be able to help them, but I have this person over here that can help them. And it's just creating that camaraderie and the community that I feel is very valuable.
No doubt. No, it's an exciting thing, and I'm excited for you. Like I would always say to those people that like over the first 2 years, your business begins to take a shape, and then really probably the next 4 years after that, that shape is either redefined or reinforced. Right, like you'll it really kind of takes that 24-month period to stop experiencing some of the crests and troughs, and then that level of consistency is really what you're trying to establish over those first 2 years, and then the 4 years following that is it begins to go a little deeper, right? Your culture is defined, and how your employees talk about their experience whenever new employees are hired, or how people are talking about and representing their business when they're outside. That some of those things change, right? So I'm what I'm saying is that you're in like the most exciting time, even with a franchise like that 8 to 12 month window is a really really cool way to, I know enough about what I'm doing now, and I'm confident enough in my existing client base and relationships to where, I can look, for the first time in 8 months or 12 months or however long this process is of, getting this brick and mortar and getting people hired and getting it, like now I can actually look up. You can look at the opportunity and see where there is room to grow, and that there's probably plenty of opportunity in the existing market that you're in. So it's a really really cool thing, and I'm excited for you. And we should do this, have this same conversation again, as far because like I said, the shape of your business takes it changes whether you're in a franchise or whether you're not in a franchise. You're the one defining the culture. It's someone else. Like no matter what your role is, that thing will kind of take its own form over some of that period of time. So it's a cool place to be in, and I'm excited for you. How do people
Yep.
find you if they want to buy something from you? If they want to pick your brain?
Oh, yeah, we are in Mesa, Arizona, Northeast Mesa. It's called Red Mountain Gateway. It's a little community out here in Northeast Mesa. And primevhydration.com is where all of the Prime IV locations are. So no matter where you are in the United States, if there isn't already one near you, there probably will be. We've got over 120 locations open, and there's, I think, like 250 in the pipeline. We are very rapidly growing. It is an exciting place to be. I don't think it's a fad. It's kind of like Massage Envy. I'll do a name drop for Massage Envy. They thought that was going to be a fad, and now there's all sorts of competitors out there for Massage Envy, and there are in the IV business as well. But we really create an upscale spa like experience. We have zero gravity massage chairs. So when you're getting your IV, you're getting a full body massage and getting what we call a 1 hour vacation. And that's what we want to give people as an experience. Yes, you need the nutrients. That's very important. You're not going to get the same level of nutrients, unfortunately, through food or supplementation, just because of the lack of nutrients in our food and the digestive process. It's difficult these days unless you garden and you're growing all of your own food to get what you need. So I believe in the nutritive value of IV therapy, but what we're selling really is an experience. We want people to be able to disconnect and recharge for just that 1 hour, even once a month, can make a really big difference in stress levels.
No doubt. Yeah, it absolutely can. Well, um, I hope that people take what you just said and don't take it for granted, right? Because I am an advocate for your service, right? I've been through it a bunch of times, both from being sick, being out late, from traveling, from all kinds of stuff, right? Like even I had to go out of town for a funeral, and a bunch of us got sick for a funeral, and we had an associate of ours in the merchant services world that hooked us up with a bunch of IV bags and things like that with glucose and B12 and different vitamins, and just things that really kind of revived us when it was really really tough. You know what I mean? So I'm a big advocate for your service in general. It really works, and it will really change the way you feel if you've got something big going up. So I can say that from personal experience that what you have going on is really, really cool. I've been to one of your franchises, not yours specifically, but I have been to a Prime IV, and it's a
Excellent.
cool thing. It's a cool experience. It's a little different than what you get from other places, and I wish the best for you. So I
Thank
just got one
you.
more
Thank
question
you.
here for
Mhm.
you, right? And it's kind of the allusion to our name, right? Burn the ship. because it seems like you've had to kind of go all in on your business a couple of different times, right? Most
Mhm.
recently, probably a year ago, beginning down this franchise road. So if you had to sum up that experience of going into business for yourself and diving all in on the business and just saying, okay, I'm going to go through what I need to go through to make this happen, how would you describe that, and why should other people that are looking for that same experience, seek it out?
Um, the best analogy that I can make it is having a child, and not everybody's had a child, so they're not going to relate to this. So, but those of you who have, especially the women who have given birth, it's one of those things that there's all this joy and wonder that comes with it, but there's also a lot of pain and heartache, especially during
Yeah,
the birthing process. But raising a child, they scrape their knee or they make a poor decision or whatever it is, and there's just a lot of tug and pull and a lot of wonderful experiences. And I've had times where uh it's like if I would have seen this before I started, there's no way I would have done it. Right. Because if you see only the pain, same like childbirth, if you saw only that, like, nope, I'm out. Right. If you saw what it was like, the terrible twos or having a teenager, and you might be like, nope, I'm out. I'm not doing that. But once you move through it and you're on the other side, it's like, wow, I did that. Thank you. Pat yourself on the back. I
yeah,
did that and I made it through that. And so I remember that when I do go through those difficult times that, hey, I made it through this and this and this and that, and that I can do this too. And so yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, I want to burn the ship. It's just
sure,
I'm done. I'm out, right? But it's like, no, you just pick yourself up, dust yourself out off, and go, okay, what's next? What do I need to do to make this better? And
sure.
that's what I do every day.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful kind of cycle that you put your brain into. Just it's a wonderful thing that it does to your brain to be able to just step out and put your best foot forward and do the best that you can every day. You know what I mean? And that's a thing that being a business owner unlocks for a lot of people. And I'm glad you've got that experience. It's been refreshing to talk to you. I think what you do is really really cool. I can't harp on that enough. I think that you have people's wellness in mind while you're doing what your business does is very very important, because there are a lot of people that they treat sickness, and keeping you sick, and all of the medicine and supplements and things that live out there in the world are um, they may make you feel better, they may boost a little immunity, but at the end of the day, it's hard to really understand what you're doing. And I would say that IV is probably the most clear way to understand what exactly is going into your body, and the feeling and the process it's going to incite your body to do. And so I stand behind your product, and I think you're awesome. I think you have a really
Yeah.
good shot at making what you do work. You're in an awesome place. That Northern Arizona is a wonderful, wonderful place to be in. So, I wish you the best of luck. If you have anything else to leave the people with, please, the platform is yours. But that's about all I have, and I just encourage everyone to burn the ship. Find a reason to go really, really hard at your business this week and work really hard and make some connections and bring some value to your customers. And if you need us, please reach out to me, anyone else that's been a guest on the podcast for the most part. But it's a good time to be a business owner. It really is. So work really hard at it.
So thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. It was nice getting to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, my friend. Like I said, we should definitely do this again in the future, because I think you're in that place where your business changes a lot, and you're getting used to the things that are going on, and you're still kind of drumming out some of those solutions, and your temperament kind of changes, and the employees and the culture change. It's just a cool thing. It just kind of takes its own shape, and it's just like having kids. Exactly right. Like, as your kids start to grow up and talk, and then they walk, and then they all the different milestones that you experience with children is very, very similar to your business. So I hope to be able to share some of those with you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to come on again.
Yeah, cool. Absolutely. Well, you have a good weekend, my friend. We'll edit this and then we'll put it out there to the world. And then anything that we've recorded or cut for clips or anything like that, you're more than welcome to. So,
All right.
yeah, until next time.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right.
Have a
See you.
great
Burn the
day.
ship.
All right. Bye.
You too. Bye.